$2,000 fourth stimulus check update, specifically focused on low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries of Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB beneficiaries. I have all the details for you in this video. Let's get into it right away. But really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video, as I am your one and only daily advocate, and I'm doing all the research each and every day, breaking all the information down into these short videos to keep you updated every single day with all this information as it's changing very, very fast right now. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so quite yet, and let's get right into the update. All right, so I do want to give you an update on a $2,000 fourth stimulus check, specifically focused on all of those groups that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So first off, let me quickly give you an update of where we currently stand on that $2,000 petition. Remember that one on change.org? Yeah, well, it is still getting signatures every single day. Believe it or not, it is still getting signatures. Therefore, there are still a lot of people out there right now who are actually still in support of a $2,000 ongoing stimulus check. But I want to bring you all the information here. So again, this is the first point I want to point out right here and give you the latest details. So as of right now, it is currently sitting a little over 3,040,000 signatures. So that's a lot of people, right? And it is still getting signatures every single day. What's interesting about this is when you go onto the petition and you look at it, it actually shows you the name of people who have recently signed. Every time that I look at it, it literally says, John Smith just signed 12 minutes ago. John Doe just signed 13 minutes ago. You know what I mean? So it gives you the names of the most recent people that signed, and it's always within the last few minutes. So, I mean, literally, people are signing it all the time. So anyway, there's a lot of people out there right now still looking around. Hey, where's the stimulus check? How can I support a $2,000 check? You know what I mean? So anyway, every so often I do like to bring you the latest updates on that and let you know what's going on with that petition. All right, so now let's quickly talk about all of these latest proposals coming out of Congress. Now again, as I mentioned previously in other videos, this is a really, really good thing that as of recently, the last month or so now, Congress has come out with multiple different proposals talking about stimulus checks. Again, a very, very good thing. And as I've mentioned before in previous videos, I want to continue to encourage Congress to continue playing with all these ideas, because the more that they think about this, the more that they're going to get consumed by these ideas. This is a great thing. So as of recently, over the last month or so, probably the last about 4 weeks or so, since early March, we've been seeing multiple different proposals coming out of a variety of different people in Congress talking about stimulus checks, vouchers, tax rebates, tax credits, I mean, literally all kinds of different things, even monthly stimulus checks and even quarterly stimulus checks. Now, we've talked about all of these in previous videos, but here's the point I want to make about all this. Congress is once again warming up to the idea of checks, monthly checks, one-time check, quarterly checks, vouchers, rebate checks, tax credits. I mean, literally, it's all the same thing. They're all names for literally the same thing, a stimulus check. So the simple fact that Congress is warming up to these ideas once again is a really good thing. And like I said, I want to continue to encourage them. So by any chance, if anybody from Congress is watching this video, please, you and all your buddies sit around and, buy some lunch on the taxpayer dollar and start talking about stimulus checks. Seriously, you got to get something done here. People are struggling right now, especially the low income and the fixed income. They are struggling. You got to get something done. So anyway, they are still talking about this right now. And even though these other checks have been predicated on rising gas prices, that's just what their excuse is. Remember, they basically want to find any reason, an excuse, any type of catalyst that they can give for why they should justify sending out more checks. Well, they've pretty much said it there in all those other proposals over the last month or so, saying, well, gas prices are high right now. People need some money. Let's just call it a gas rebate check, or putting money back into the pockets plan or act. You know what I mean? So there's all these different funny names here, but it's all predicated on, and it's all pointing toward gas prices. But again, we could call it a $2,000 gas check, right? Or $2,000 worth of gas relief, right? That'd be a pretty good name. So anyway, My point is the simple fact that Congress is warming up to these ideas of monthly checks, a one-time lump sum payment, quarterly checks, all this stuff is a very good sign, right? All right, so next, I do want to talk about the adjustment to the federal poverty line as well. And in the event a $2,000 stimulus check is approved by Congress, I kind of want to shake this out a little bit more because as of recently, maybe the last, several months that we've been talking about stimulus checks, things like this, I've pretty much been saying I wouldn't be surprised at all to see about 50 million people get a $2,000 check. Or a fourth stimulus check is basically what I should say, in the event that Congress does approve one. However, I want to say this much. Based on everything that we're seeing out there right now and what's going on, in the event Congress does approve a fourth stimulus check, I think it's going to be much more highly focused. In fact, 50 million people may need a check right now, but realistically, it may be a much smaller number than that even, maybe 20, 25 million people. If they do approve a fourth stimulus check, whether it's $1,400 or $2,000, it's likely going to be a much more highly focused check. Yeah, I know, even 50 million people is highly focused, but here's the deal. If they approve anything, it is likely going to be those people who are absolutely struggling the most right now, those people who are low income and fixed income. Now, here's another thing I want to point out as well. Between all of these programs that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, like Social Security, retirement, SSDI, survivors, SSI, all of these beneficiaries, there's about 70 million beneficiaries. However, do all 70 million need a $2,000 check or a $1,400 check? Let's be real. The answer is probably not, right? There's probably a lot of beneficiaries out there who maybe receive $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 a month from their benefit, and then they also have benefits from, or they also have income from maybe, draws out of an IRA or maybe a 401k or annuities or other investments, things like this. So their income is probably doing just fine. Maybe they have a pension or other income sources in conjunction with their Social Security benefits. Would they need a $2,000 check? Again, probably not, right? However, what about the big percentage of people who receive only Social Security retirement, maybe in the amount of $900, or SSDI, $920 a month, or what about SSI, $841 a month? Do these people need a check? Yes, absolutely, 100%. I think all of us in this community can probably agree, yes, 100%. These are the people who need that check, and that's what I'm saying. In the event that Congress actually does approve one, it is probably these people who, the people that are living on only a fixed income benefit, are those who would probably be on the block to actually get a check. Kind of makes sense? So basically what I'm thinking, based on everything that I'm reading about this, all the research that I'm doing on all this stuff, it basically comes down to this. They're pretty much looking at the situation as in, who really needs a check right now? Is it the Social Security beneficiary who has 5 other sources of income and other retirement income? Well, like I said, probably not. It's probably not those people. However, is it the retiree or the SSDI beneficiary or the SSI beneficiary and the VA beneficiary who's literally living on your monthly benefit, and that is it, below the poverty line? Yeah, winner, winner, ding, ding. Yeah, that's right? These are the groups of people, these are the individuals who would need that check, right? And this is all coming back to the federal poverty line. Let me break this down for you really quickly because this is actually a pretty big update here, and these numbers may play a major role in who actually gets a fourth stimulus check, again, in the event Congress does decide to actually add one. So there's a couple other things here I want to talk about in this video as well, but I'll get to that here in just a second. But the federal poverty line has actually been adjusted to $13,590 here in 2022 over the $12,880 that was the federal poverty line in 2021. So an adjustment of $710 more this year versus last year. Well, believe it or not, there are tens of millions of people currently living in poverty in this country. As of the last reading I saw, it was about 48 million people living in poverty in this country. So that could build the case for either, will it really be like the most extreme impoverished people out there with a very, very low income? Or could they possibly look at everybody living in poverty right now, which basically has an income at or below that line that I just gave you, the $13,590 a year? Who would basically be potentially eligible for that fourth check. And again, whether you're working or not working, Social Security or fixed income beneficiary, simply does not matter. Income is income when it comes to all this stuff, so it doesn't matter if you have zero income or fixed income in benefits as your income, simply doesn't matter, right? Income is income in the eyes of the IRS. So anyway, when we look at the federal poverty line, these are some key numbers that we want to watch very closely, because in the event that they actually do approve a fourth stimulus check of any dollar amount, whether it's $1, $1,400, or $2,000, like we're talking about in this video, these numbers I think are going to play a major, major role. Like I said, there's 48 million people living in poverty as of the last report that I read about this. Therefore, these are the people that they want to lift out of poverty. Well, that's what they say anyway, right? We hear this all the time. Nobody in the United States should ever need to live in poverty, older adults, people with disabilities, things like this. Well, if that's the case, then why are 48 million people living in poverty, right? I think that's a good question that we should probably be asking all the people that represent us in Congress, right? They say nobody should live in poverty in America, but yet about 48 million people are. So does that make any sense? Probably not really, right? But anyway, these are some key numbers that we want to watch very closely going forward as Congress continues to play around with these ideas of potential stimulus checks, the gas rebate checks, things like this. And again, these are just fancy names to basically justify that they want to send out additional money to the low income, the fixed income, those people who are struggling right now. And they're saying it's because of gas prices. But let's be honest with ourselves. It's because of everything else. Gas prices, are not fun to pay, but at the end of the day, it's increased prices on literally everything, otherwise known as inflation. Now again, I want to throw this out there as well. The Federal Reserve is working on raising interest rates, which should slow down the inflation at some point. But at the rate that they're going right now, inflation is going to just continue to charge forward until the Federal Reserve actually steps up way more aggressively than what they currently are right now to actually get ahead of all of this inflation. However, these are some major things that are ahead of Congress as well as the Federal Reserve and the administration right now when it comes to additional payments and or helping out struggling Americans. Now, right here on the channel, we've talked about many, many times over the last year. We've been talking about all these different reports. I'm back with you probably, twice, 3 times a week with different reports laying out showing how the low income and the fixed income are struggling right now as a result of all this inflation. Again, another catalyst for why/when/who could be actually on the block and in line for an additional stimulus check in the event they actually do approve one. So, this is something else we've got to watch very closely going forward is what is inflation doing, because this is literally eating everybody up right now. We continue to see it. I just saw a report the other day that literally said the low income and the fixed income are being hammered right now. Those are the words that they said in the report. So yeah, you can see right here, right? So it's very obvious what is going on. But anyway, this is another thing that we've got to watch very closely going forward, as once again, the midterm elections are coming up in a matter of just months from now, right? So as you can see here, there are many different things that are currently on the table right now in front of the Federal Reserve, Congress as a whole, and of course the administration, and it's all coming back onto the midterm elections in just a handful of months. I know, we've been talking about the midterm elections for a while now, but guess what? They're coming fast. It's not that many months away. We're already a handful of months into 2022, and the midterm elections are not that many months away. It's going to go fast. And at the speed that Congress works, and as often as they are out on vacation, it takes them a very long time to get anything done. So, to wrap this whole thing up, let me just come back and bring this whole thing full circle. It all basically comes down to this. Congress is playing around with the ideas of stimulus checks. Check. That's good, right? Number 2, inflation is still raging very, very hot right now. That's also very good to know. The Federal Reserve is working on that. Next, they also recognize everybody in Congress, the administration, all of these people are recognizing the midterm elections are coming up. We've got inflation raging, and we've got a lot of low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries who are struggling right now as a result of all of this, the global situation. Obviously that's going on, but it's realistically just inflation in this country that is really impacting everybody the most. They're playing around with the ideas of what can we do to get out to the people and help them out. A little $100 check on an ongoing basis because of gas prices is not going to do much. Yes, we'll take it. I mean, I'll gladly take a $100 check every month from Uncle Sam, right? I think all of us will. But at the end of the day, is it really going to help us out and get us ahead? No, it's not. So Congress needs to play around with bigger numbers. They love playing around with big numbers when it comes to all their pet projects, but when it comes out to getting, money into the pockets of the people, do they play around with big numbers? Well, unfortunately, as of lately, they haven't been, but they may be backed into a corner here relatively soon where they'll need to play around with some bigger numbers if they actually want to continue in the positions that they currently are right now as we go into the midterm elections, right? So we've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things that are going on out there right now. But anyway, when it comes to a $2,000 stimulus check or a $1,400 stimulus check, Congress may just be backing themselves into a really, really tight corner here, as they have been for many, many months now. They may just need to throw out a Hail Mary and just, kind of bite it and just take it and just, just do what they got to do for the American people here. Anyway, it's a very interesting time that we're going through right now. But anyway, when it comes to a $2,000 stimulus check, like I've always said before, I just have to reiterate this so that we're all on the same page and that so that there is no miscommunication. At this time, a $2,000 check has not been approved as of right now. However, we've got to continue watching this very closely, just like everything else out there, because Congress is talking about checks. They're talking about direct payments. And as Nancy Pelosi indicated just a few days ago, Congress is currently working on checks and or direct payments to the people. So, Nancy, let's see your hand. Let's hear it. What are you guys doing? What are you working on? We got to see this. We don't have all the time in the world to wait for Congress to play around with all their ideas. They just got to get something done here. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be to keep you updated with everything going on. Literally, there is so many moving parts on this whole thing right now. It's like a big engine with all these different gears, right? This belt moves to that. These gears move that. This auger does that. This piston does that. Honestly, I don't know anything about engines. I think I'm saying some right names here, right? I think I'm right. The mechanics in the room will say, "You idiot, you said it all wrong." That's okay. I don't know anything about engines, so I probably did say it all wrong. But my point is, I'm trying to make an analogy here where everything is highly correlated, and basically everything is so highly correlated that, one little moving part over here is going to basically move the whole machine, right? Kind of makes sense? So anyway, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at with these analogies. So anyway, as I do get more information on any of these details, of course, I'll be right back here for you, breaking it all down and to help you out in any way that I can, as that is my dedication to you and this community. There's a lot going on. But anyway, please leave your comments and questions down below, and I'll do my best to answer them, as well as come back and make some dedicated videos for you as I see these questions down below. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other over 2,300 videos right here on the channel. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later in the next one.